When you think of annoying One Piece antagonists, who do you think about? Because for me, it's easy. It's gonna be Caesar Clown. No one's ever gonna be more annoying than that guy. On my first watch of One Piece when I was going through Punk Hazard, I remember several times having to actually take a break because his laugh was actually too much for me. I couldn't handle it. So yeah, I hate Caesar, which is regrettable because Punk Hazard itself is pretty hilarious. Especially from the perspective of our favorite cop, Smoker, okay? So picture this for me, alright? You are Vice Admiral Smoker. You're the hardest working cop on the force, alright? You are hard at work trying to catch this crazy crackhead that's just traveling the world fighting everybody. You're actually one of the only people in the world who understand just how dangerous this guy is, and you have dedicated a significant amount of your time trying to apprehend him and bring him to justice. So imagine your surprise when you and your crew are leisurely sailing the New World just outside of Punk Hazard, and you end up intercepting a distress call coming from the island. Now, the distress call itself is somebody screaming about a samurai that's running loose on the island, just cutting up everybody in sight. So the voice on the phone is like, "Oh my god, help, somebody come quick, we're all gonna die, there's a samurai, it's cutting up everybody." And before you can even respond, guess who you hear on another line but that lunatic, that crazy ass crackhead. He picks up the phone, gives you his full name, address, and social security number, and tells you he is right outside of Punk Hazard, just like you are. So you are flabbergasted. You turn to your partner Tashigi and you go, "Did you hear that? Everybody suit up. We're gonna bring those crazy bastards to justice. Today's the day." So you suit up and you head down to Punk Hazard, alright? Now, Punk Hazard is a weird island. Half of it is on fire and the other half is a frozen wasteland, alright? Now, that's another story, but just to summarize it, two admirals decided to have a grudge match there to decide who was gonna become the fleet admiral, alright? You actually know one of the admirals, but, you know, we'll get into that a little bit later. Just hang on a second. Basically, all you need to know is that Smoker is aware of the history on Punk Hazard, and basically, no one is supposed to be there right now, alright? The whole island is off limits ever since those two admirals had their grudge match. But you're on a mission, so you pull up to the frozen part of the island, and you're just searching for this crackhead and his band of lunatics until you come across a laboratory. Now, this laboratory is in the middle of nowhere, but you decide you need to check it out because the crackhead could be running loose in there, or something else could be going on in there. You're just investigating. Place looks kind of suspicious, so you walk up to it and you knock on the door. And who answers the door? It is the newly appointed warlord, the surgeon of death, the cool cat himself, Trafalgar Law. "What you want, pig? What in the hell are you doing here? You know this whole island is both on fire and frozen, right? This place is off limits." "Yeah, maybe it's off limits to regular people, but I don't know if you've heard, but I'm a warlord now. I can be here as long as I want. And if you must know, this is my winter island Airbnb. I'm on vacation." Vacation? Look, or whatever. Is there a crackhead in there? What? A crackhead and his band of lunatics. Have you seen any of them? Are they in there? No. Are you sure? You don't think I'd notice a crackhead and a bunch of freaks running around my Airbnb while I'm on vacation? Told you, they're not here. So that's when you pull out a transponder snail, and that's when you play the recording of the crackhead just outside of Punk Hazard to give Law a little bit of proof. "Hello, my name is Monkey D. Luffy. I'm gonna be king of the pirates. I am about to land on Punk Hazard. My social security number is 44268. All right, you can cut that off. Look, I don't know what you guys get out of faking a recording, but I told you, he's not here." "Right, well listen, we need to come inside and take a look around." "Oh yeah, sure, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, just one more thing before you do though, you got a warrant?" "What? Do you have a warrant? Because if you don't, you're gonna have to bounce." So you're at a stalemate. You know you don't have time to go get a warrant, alright? By the time you come back, the crackhead's gonna be gone. The whole island might be gone, based on what you already know about this guy. But as you're standing there trying to think about different options, something crazy happens. As Law is standing in the doorway demanding that you get a warrant before you come inside his Winter Island Airbnb, Kung Fu Panda and a shirtless woman, along with a bunch of kids, come busting through the door and running outside. And before anyone can respond to that, you see even more people running up behind them, and it's a cyborg, a pervert, and even more children for some reason. "Hey Chopper, it's me Sanji and Franky of the Straw Hat Pirates. We found some more children. Let's figure out how to get off this island." Holy shit, is that the Navy? Damn it. Well, alright, we can't go that way. Alright, everybody, back inside the laboratory where they abused the warlord system to conduct illegal experiments on children right under the Navy's nose. Let's go! So everybody runs back inside the lab, and you and Law are just standing there staring at each other. Winter Island Airbnb, huh? Okay, full disclosure, I am definitely up to something on this island, but I have no idea who any of those people are or what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on, Law. Those were the Straw Hats. All right, now you need to let me inside so I can arrest them. And it's at this point we should probably switch to Law's perspective. All right, now imagine this. You are Trafalgar Law, okay? You are definitely up to something on this island, all right? Now, for those of you that have seen Dressrosa, you're gonna know what that is. It is a multi-step plan that is just very critical that everything goes right on this island in Punk Hazard. But now there's a bunch of variables that you didn't account for on this island, you see, so you gotta make sure that they're not gonna get in the way of the things that you already have planned. So you use your devil fruit powers to switch the Straw Hats' bodies. That should slow them down until you get some more information about what they're doing here. And you also use your devil fruit powers to incapacitate most of the Navy members, and then you beat up Smoker a little bit, just a little bit, and then once that's over, you switch his body with his partner Tashigi's, basically for funsies. I mean, you've already slowed him down. There was not really a reason to do it, but you did it anyway. And right after all that's happened, guess who comes running up to you from out of nowhere but Captain Crackhead himself? Law, my dog, what's up? It's been a while. What's going on? Nothing. Look, man, I've only seen you a couple of times, but every time I do, the island ends up getting destroyed. So before that happens, I need to make sure all my affairs are in order. If you want to talk more, you can meet me around back. Aren't you gonna ask me about my cool new legs? Whatcha? No. Well, all right then. Also, have you seen my crew anywhere around here? Yeah, they should be somewhere around back too. They also had a bunch of kids with them. Do you know anything about that? Kids? No, we don't have any kids with us. That mother... All right, like I said, let me figure some stuff out and meet me around back. We can talk later. So you go back inside the lab to get some questions answered, and that's when you see your quote-unquote partner in crime, Caesar Clown, talking to himself and laughing maniacally, which is far from unusual for this guy. So you're like, hey, I gotta talk to you. In a second, Law. I'm getting everything ready for the big show. Nah, man, this can't wait. I need to ask you something right now. Law, relax. The show's gonna be great. Shut up right now. I don't want to hear that laugh anymore in the rest of this video. I'm serious. What is going on with you? Why are there kids here? Huh? You heard me. What are these kids doing here? You need to explain. Look, we're both pirates here, Law. Let's just... Nah, hell no. Now, we both might be doing criminal stuff here, but I did not sign up for any of this weird Neverland Ranch nonsense. All right, it's part of my research. All right, I'm working on something, and I need the kids to do it. All right, Michael Jackson, look. If this universe needed an Orochimaru, we'd have one by now. So I need you to release all these kids and stop being so damn weird. We still don't completely know for sure if what I'm doing with these kids is wrong or not. You're a grown-ass man dressed as a clown with no parents in sight. Anything you do with children is wrong. And in the middle of your argument, a few of Caesar's men come busting through the doors. They're just like, oh my God, Caesar, it's crazy out there. This crackhead showed up out of nowhere. We sunk his boat in the freezing river, and then they came out of the river and they beat us all up and they stole our clothes. And the crackhead, for some reason, he had like 4 legs. I don't know what that's about, but it's kind of cool looking. So Caesar's just like, okay. And also, Brownbeard's been captured. So Caesar hears all that and he's just like, God, so useless. All right, well, where is Brownbeard? Have we tried to get in contact? What is he up to? So just for continuity's sake, we can go over to Brownbeard and see how all of that's going on, because Brownbeard is now trapped with the Straw Hats. He's tied up and they're asking him questions about what's going on Punk Hazard. And Brownbeard pretty enthusiastically informs them all about Caesar and how, from his perspective, he helped all of the inhabitants on the island, and he's explaining why everyone on the island loves him so much. And that's it. That's the whole story of how Punk Hazard became an island of... Hey, is he asleep? Yeah, he does that. Listen, what's going on with these kids? It looks like they're going through withdrawal, but that can't be right. Oh yeah, it must be time for their daily candy. The master's so nice, he gets them their fix every day. They become very irritable otherwise. Are you saying these babies are addicted to crack? And that's when one of the crack-addicted toddlers stumbles over to Luffy and starts growling for more drugs. What's going on, little guy? You want some crack? I'll get you some crack. And without warning, the giant crack baby knocks Luffy right into the wall, and he gets up. He's very upset immediately. Yeah, Sanji Chopper, you better figure out what's wrong with these little bastards before I open up Luffy's daycare dojo in here. Luckily, that's when Usopp manages to use some of his very mysterious plant powers that I don't think any of us fully understand yet. But he manages to use that, which luckily puts all of the children to sleep. Oh wow, he put him to sleep. Ooh, I'm glad you did that, Usopp, because I was about to put them to sleep too. One by one. So during all the confusion, Nami somehow manages to get herself captured by the enemy, and Franky, who is in Chopper's body, wants to go help Luffy get Nami back. The problem is he doesn't exactly know how to use Chopper's body. He doesn't have any experience with it, so he ends up asking Sanji Chopper if he could get a Rumble Ball to use Monster Point. At least that way he'd be at least a little bit useful. Listen, Chopper, I'm useless like this. It's the only way I can help. All right, fine, I'll give it to you, but just make sure that you only use it when super! What the hell, man? So Franky Chopper doesn't listen for some reason. He takes the Rumble Ball and he's useless for the rest of, wow, I think it's for the rest of the arc. I don't remember Franky actually doing anything for the rest of Punk Hazard. He's out of the fight completely. But that's okay, because the only people that they really have to fight are the Yeti Coors Light brothers, which is like, I'm not going to waste time explaining that any further. All you need to know is they are written out of the story. They never come up again. They take care of it. But also, at the same time, after they rescue Nami, Luffy and Nami manage to meet up with Law as well. So we can get back to Law's perspective. Now, Law needs to enact this multi-step plan, like I explained earlier. So the real plan is to just get back at Doflamingo. He wants to get revenge. But he understands Luffy probably better than a lot of people. He knows that he needs his help, and he knows to get him on board, he needs to either feed him or promise him a very good fight. So he works out this whole plan about taking on an emperor of the sea, you know, like that's in it, but like Law has no intention of going through with that to completion. Like he's really only seen this through to get even with Doflamingo. But he knows Luffy, and he knows that if he wants Luffy's help, he should get him excited about this. So he tells them all about Kaido and how if they kidnap Caesar, they will have a very good chance at taking down an emperor of the sea. And just like Law thought, without question, without asking any question like at all, Luffy is on board with this plan. So Law's like, I'm glad you're in, but you sure you don't want to maybe talk it over with your crew a little? My plan involves all of them. Nah, it's cool. They'll be into it. So Luffy, Nami, and Law all go back to the Straw Hats, and understandably, they are all taken aback by the sudden wave of new information. Usopp's like, you only left to get Nami. How in the world did you come back in a pirate alliance with the express purpose of fighting an Emperor of the Sea? Help me understand. And that's when Robin says, listen, Luffy, we will follow you anywhere, but you should know that most pirate alliances usually end in betrayal. Huh? You're not gonna betray me, right? Nah. Yee. You are an idiot! Hey, Mugiwara, I thought you said you weren't the ones responsible for these kids. We weren't, but we are now. We gotta get him some crack. What? Ignore him. We need to find some more information on the drug they're addicted to so I can synthesize an antidote. Sounds like a lot of work that isn't part of the plan we're all a part of, so how do you guys plan on doing that? What do you mean, you're gonna help us? What are you talking about? And Usopp's just like, I thought this would happen. Let me ask you something, Law. What do you think an alliance is? Do you think it's a partnership resting on the foundation of mutual goals? I mean, that would be the exact definition, so yeah. Right, see, that's what I thought. You're a regular person, but you see, that's not what an alliance is to Luffy. It's when you're friends, right? And see, that word right there, that's another good one we could call attention to, okay? To Luffy, your friends are people who blindly do whatever you want them to without ever considering their wants or needs. He is the most selfish person in the entire world. That's what they say. So go ahead and take every single plan that you have right now and throw it right out the window, because I can promise you, nothing from this point on is going to go the way you think it is. That sounds crazy. Look, I might be able to help, but I'll need to take your doctor with me into the lab. Which one of you is the doctor anyway? That's me. What? Can you even move? Before you even have time to protest anything that's happening, they have tied their doctor to your head and have sent you off to go do the things that they need you to do. All of the respect that you were commanding as the leader of this alliance has now crumbled right before your eyes. You know what? This is fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Fine. I'll help, but before we go, just let me explain the plan. So, you explain the plan to the rest of these lunatics. You explain that you need to kidnap Caesar Clown, and he's a Logia Devil Fruit user, so you also need to get your hands on some Sea Prison Stone handcuffs. But the plan is to kidnap him, so obviously stealth is a rather large component of this plan working, right? So you explain it, and you emphasize that the plan is to sneak into the laboratory, incapacitate Caesar, put those handcuffs on him, and then get out of the lab as fast as possible. So yeah, you explain all of that to those lunatics, and then you and Chopper begin making your way into the lab so that you can find more information on the drug so that Chopper can synthesize an antidote. And so you and Chopper are almost in the lab, and below you, you see some more Marine people fighting with some more of Caesar's people. You see all that happening right outside the front door, and you're like, yeah, probably better that we don't get involved with that. We are sneaking in, obviously. But while all that's going on, you hear something flying through the air. You look up, and to your horror, this crackhead is flying through the air, carrying two of his other crewmates, and all three of them crash directly into the front door, and the crackhead jumps up and he's like, come on out, Michael Jackson, we are here to kidnap you. Like, you just, not even 5 minutes ago, emphasized how important stealth was for this mission to work, and literally 5 minutes into the alliance, you're starting to understand the gravity of the mistake that you made getting involved with these lunatics. So Law and Chopper just ignore it. Law is just like, you know, I don't even care. I assume he's got a plan. You know, who am I kidding? He doesn't have a plan, but you know what? I hope this works out. That's all I'm gonna say. But me and Chopper, we're gonna keep going into the lab. So Law goes, and the crackhead actually managed managed to draw out Caesar. So now Caesar is on the battlefield while the Marines are fighting a bunch of his, like, I don't know, I guess the people that worship him. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why they even like him, but I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, the point is, while all the fighting's going on, Caesar manages to come out, okay? And the crackhead's like, aha, Michael Jackson, and he starts fighting him. Part of Caesar's powers is that he can shoot poison gas out, okay? So he does that to Luffy, and Luffy breathes all of the gas in, and then he shoots all of the gas out of his ears, like a cartoon character. Like, Caesar sees all that, and he's like, okay, I don't understand. What about rubber implies that you can, like, that's just, like, biology and physics be damned, I guess? Like, is your devil fruit power actually that you just can't take anything seriously? So Caesar sees all that, and he's like, all right, that's really wacky, but you know what? That's fine. I can control, like, all of the gas around him to create an explosion. So Caesar decides to explode the crackhead, and the crackhead doesn't care about that either. He's still beating Caesar up. Caesar has tried to poison this crackhead and explode him, and the crackhead does not care. So he has now decided to take a page out of the Blackbeard Pirate's playbook, and he decides to cheat him. So he removes all of the oxygen from around the crackhead and his allies, and they all just are incapacitated because they can't breathe, okay? So now Caesar's like, shuro, I win, whatever. Tie all these people up, they are captured. Now, unfortunately, at the same time, Law is inside the lab with Chopper. Chopper manages to go and do all the drug synthesis, whatever, the stuff that he's doing inside the lab. And Law is also walking around the lab trying to complete the rest of his plan, but unfortunately, he runs into a crooked cop named Vergo. And Vergo actually has Law's heart, which he had previously given to Caesar for insurance. Now, the reason Law didn't think too much about this is because he was sure he was able to get his heart back. I mean, Caesar's just a sorry antagonist. But now it's in the hands of Vergo, and Vergo can fight a little bit. He can actually fight a lot, actually. He's a pretty tough guy. So, in combination of him being a really tough guy and having Law's heart, that's enough to put Law on his ass, basically. Like, Law is out of the fight, and he ends up being captured as well. Like, Vergo knows Law. Vergo knows that Law is up to something. So, with his heart and his really good fighting capabilities, he's able to capture Law too. So Vergo and Caesar has everybody captured, and they are going over their big dumb evil plan. And inside the cage, Robin is laughing, saying this is just like how they were all in Alabasta. And Law hears that, and Law's like, I'm sorry, how many times do you guys get captured? And Luffy's just like, oh, like a lot. Like at least every arc, at least once. Like at least for sure for me, like at least once. Like I'm always in here. So Caesar and Vergo keep going over their big dumb evil plan. Caesar explains that he has this Nick at Night slime creation thing that he's just releasing onto the island, and it's just killing everybody. What's really messed up about this is like 10% of the people on the island are people that want to hurt Caesar. Like everybody else are the people that actually liked Caesar for some reason. You know who mostly gets murked by this Nick at Night slime creation? It's all of Caesar's men, and the whole time he's laughing like an idiot, and he's also live streaming this entire event to like all of the different people in the new world, like see what I'm capable of. He's just really, it's really messed up, and he's just so sorry, and I hate him. I hate him a whole lot. So after that, Caesar and Vergo decide to take the cage that everybody's in and hang them outside of the window so that eventually the slime creation will be able to get to them as well. So now they are hanging just outside of the laboratory, and that's when Law starts giving everybody even more orders. And to everyone's shock, the sea prison stone chains that he was tied in along with everybody else, the chains that he was in, they actually just fall off on their own. And Luffy's just like, what, you could do that the whole time? What's going on? I was just like, yeah, I replaced a bunch of the sea prison stone chains in the lab with regular chains just in case something like this would happen. So they ended up putting regular chains around you instead of sea prison stone? That's so convenient. What's really convenient is that they decided to dangle us outside their window like a James Bond villain instead of dealing with us with any sort of competency. Seriously, if either Caesar or Vergo were smarter than a 5th grader, we'd be dead right now. So Law frees the crackhead and the rest of his crewmates, and that's when he turns to Smoker and Tashigi. Well, what do you think we should do with you? Do your worst, you dirty pirate. Hey, Law, I got a question for you. Why'd you put these two in each other's bodies? You switched us a while ago too. Why'd you do that? Hey, yeah, with that devil fruit you could have slowed us down or prevented us from leaving the island in dozens of other ways. Why'd you switch our bodies? What do you mean why? Because it's hilarious. Look at you. Oh, you think this is funny? While we're all asking each other questions, I have a question. Why is your chest out like that? This is just because of my devil fruit. All the smoke, it gets hot. I gotta open my shirt. No, your devil fruit is over there now. You are just a woman with her nipples out, so you can see how that's a little distracting. All right, listen, you listen. I'm not the one who unbuttoned your shirt and put your nipples in the wind like that. Seems like you got some anger you need to be directing at yourself. You mother— Oh, hey, I'm back. All right, now I'm gonna let you go, but remember, I can do that anytime, so watch your mouth. All right, everybody, now that we're all free, let's get started with the next stage of the plan. This is gonna be the tricky part, so I need everyone to— Hey, what is he doing? Yahoo! The crackhead breaks open the cage and leaps out before you have time to explain anything else. He is actively endangering the plan again, and his crew is just like, yeah, he does that sometimes. We'll stop him! How did you guys get this far? How does anything ever get done if he's like that? Listen, man, you wanted to be a part of this alliance, okay? At this point, the best advice we can give you is buckle up, buckaroo. So everyone follows the crackhead down, and everyone makes their way inside the lab, and eventually all of the other Straw Hats make it inside the lab as well. So now everyone is safe from the Nick and Knight slime creation that is actively killing people outside of the laboratory. And it's at this point Law can switch everyone who's not in the right bodies into the correct bodies, and finally finish going over the final stages of the plan that he's got. Smoker, meanwhile, is listening to Law explain how their plan is to kidnap Caesar and stop all of the horrible things that are happening inside this laboratory, and he's listening to them plan to do these vaguely heroic things, and he's not buying it. He doesn't believe that they want to actually do good in the world. Listen, if you guys want to fight Michael Jackson, I'm not going to stop you, but there's got to be an ulterior motive here. I'm not stupid. I mean, there is, but I honestly don't like him. The guy's dealing drugs to people. That's just wrong. Well, I can't argue with that. That's pretty wait, what'd you say? What? I'm just saying, what he's doing is wrong. Addiction is a serious issue in the world, and if he's exacerbating that, he's got to be stopped. I mean, I know that, but you. Matter of fact, the last arc we were in, I fought a fish that was addicted to steroids, and let me tell you, those pills ruined his life. He was also racist, which is not okay. I don't even know what to... Look, I'm going after Vergo. Just stay out of my way and we'll be good. Shut up, dummy. I'll fight him too if I want. What? No, you said you're going after Michael Jackson. Vergo was mine. I'm fighting whoever I find first. You better keep up. So the crackhead speeds off, and so now apparently it's a race to see who gets to fight who. So both Smoker and Luffy end up right outside of a door, and they agree that if the door opens and it's Michael Jackson, then that's Luffy's fight. But if it opens and it's the crooked cop, then that's Smoker's fight. The door finally opens and the crackhead's like, ah, it's Michael Jackson. Hi-ya! And he punches him right in the gut. So Smoker sees that and he's like, all right, well, that's his fight. I need to go find my crooked cop. In the meantime, Law is trying to complete the final stages of the plan because apparently he's the only one that's going to follow it. So he's looking for the laboratory where the smile fruits are being made, and he's going to destroy that. So he gets there, but unfortunately, Vergo manages to cut him off because, like I said, Vergo knows what Law is up to, or at least he's got like a vague idea of what he's up to, and he's not going to let him get in the way of Doflamingo's plans. So Vergo shows up, and unfortunately, Vergo still has Law's heart, so he's able to pretty much make light work of Law. But luckily for Law, while he's getting his ass handed to him, Smoker shows up, and Smoker has been waiting to run the ones with this crooked cop. He actually used to be Smoker's superior, so he's feeling some type of way about all this. You gotta understand. You're a disgrace to the badge, Vergo. You make me sick. Sicker than these filthy pirates ever did. So Smoker and Vergo start fighting, and unfortunately, this crooked cop has hands. Like, Smoker doesn't seem like he's much of a match. Like, he's fighting for a little bit. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's actually fighting for a while, but he's still not really a match for Vergo. Like I said, this crooked cop has hands. So Vergo beats Smoker down, and he's about to deliver the finishing blow. You should have known, Smoker. This is a show about pirates. All the protagonists are pirates. What makes you think you could do anything as a Marine? The institution is clearly flawed and corrupt. I don't know. I think it's a little bit more nuanced than that. I think it's less about the institution and more about what the individual chooses to do inside the institution. Man, shut up. It's a cab all day out here. You know, ordinarily I'd agree with you, but Smoker's pretty alright. So in the middle of the fight, Smoker was actually getting Law's heart back while he was getting his ass whooped. So Smoker managed to deliver Law his heart back, and Law, because of how OP his devil fruit is, he's able to make very quick work of Vergo. But before he does that, he calls out the person that he knows is listening. He says, Doflamingo, I know you're listening, okay? So watch this. I'm about to take out your right-hand man, and I'm about to destroy this entire factory. And he does. Like, within like a few minutes, like, Vergo is taken out of the fight. The entire lab that they are in is cut in half, and the room itself is going to explode. And Doflamingo's listening to all of this. Like, keep in mind, Doflamingo has been listening to all of this before. Like, he's been giving everybody orders, like, all around the island, like, hey, do not underestimate this crackhead or Law. So he's been listening this whole time, and this whole time things have kind of been going his way. But in like 3 minutes, he's lost his right-hand man, the factory that was on Punk Hazard, and it's just, things are just immediately just not going the way that they should be going. And it doesn't help that at the same time, Luffy is beating the brakes off of Caesar. Like, it's terrible to look at. Caesar's just crawling around begging for help. Please just stop. Don't hit me anymore. I'll put in a good word for you with Joker or Kaido. We could run these seas together, crackhead. Please, you don't have to do this. And Luffy's just like, God, why does everyone try to weasel their way out of this? Like, I came here to beat you up. If you didn't want that to happen, then you should have made better life choices. I know. What if I got you some Wendy's? Huh? How about that? We can make this all go away then, right? It's not gonna work this time. We got this whole plan, and it involves me beating you up and kidnapping you. Well, okay, actually, I just need to kidnap you, but your laugh is really, really annoying, so you're gonna keep getting what I'm giving you. So eventually, all of the fighting's over. Luffy has delivered the ass whooping that Caesar deserved, not the one that he needed. Vergo has been cut into like a million pieces and left inside an exploding factory. And pretty much all of the Marines are safe too. Oh yeah, and Chopper managed to find the antidote for the kids, so they are safe as well. So everything seems like it's going pretty good. Everybody's having a party on the shores of Punk Hazard, pirates and Marines. It's just such a good time, okay? It's really good. And it would be great if that's how the arc ended, but remember when I said Doflamingo was listening to the whole thing? So the factory is exploded, his right-hand man has been killed. Things are not going the way that they should be for Doflamingo. You think he's just gonna wait for a crackhead and his band of lunatics to pull up to Dressrosa? Absolutely not. Doflamingo says, you know what, fine, I guess I gotta do this myself. So he pulls up to Punk Hazard on his own to try to figure out exactly what's going on, what Law's plan is, why he's doing this, and to just capture anybody he can or kill anybody he can. He wants blood. He's just angry. Fortunately, by the time he pulls up, pretty much everybody is gone. Everybody except for our favorite hardworking cop, Smoker. So imagine you're Smoker, okay? You are there after all of these crazy things have happened. You have had to, once again, for the second time in your career, team up with a crackhead and his band of lunatics. And you have to admit that arguably the crackhead might have done more good than you did on this island. And your superior, who you actually kind of liked, you found out he was a crooked cop. Like, all of this has happened to Smoker, okay? And so imagine that while he's just like collecting himself and pulling his worldview back into a way that he can conceptualize, imagine a warlord shows up, another warlord, the warlord, Don Quixote Doflamingo. He shows up and just starts whooping his ass for a third time. Smoker's had it so hard. He got his ass whooped by Law, got his ass whooped by Vergo, bad by the way, and then Doflamingo shows up and just starts piecing everybody up. And what makes this all even worse is that even if you could fight Doflamingo, which you can't as Smoker, like that's not, you can't do anything to Doflamingo, but even if you could, he's a warlord, so he is protected by the world government. The same institution that you are serving right now says that he could do whatever he wants to you. And so Doflamingo's just beating the daylights out of you until he is satisfied. And Doflamingo's like, all right, that was fun. I guess you're not giving me any information, so I guess I'll just deliver the finishing blow. I guess I'll just finish you off. But right before he does, guess what? Guess who shows up now? But another crooked cop. Your old buddy, the ex-admiral Kuzan Aokiji. So you go, oh my god, what now? But he actually saves you, okay? He gets Doflamingo off of you and he sends Doflamingo on his way. So you get up and you start asking Kuzan some questions. You're like, man, I don't even know what to say. Aren't you supposed to be working with the Blackbeard pirates right now? What are you doing here? I can't tell you about that right now, but trust me, there's just a lot of corruption in the Navy. I had to get out of there. God, clearly. I obviously get that much now and would understand not wanting to be a Marine anymore, but did you have to team up with that dirty pirate Warthog after you left? That just doesn't make sense to me. Do kind of look like Pumbaa if he was a pirate. But listen, Smoker, it was too much. All the police brutality, the prison industrial complex, I had to get out of there. I've seen enough, and I couldn't make a difference. Okay, but you can see from my perspective, it looks like you left the force and then joined the cartel. Like, there had to be something else you could do, like a less extreme option that you could have taken, I guess. I'm just still not understanding the leap, Aokiji. Listen, man, I'm up to something, all right? And until Oda explains exactly what that is, you're just gonna have to trust me, all right? Wait, we still don't know why you're a member of the Blackbeard Pirates? This arc came out like 10 years ago. Yep, but it'll make sense one day, Smoker. You just keep up the good fight. The fight I'm not currently fighting, because I'm a pirate. Anyway, see you, Smoker. And so that's it. Smoker has had just the ride that Punk Hazard was for Smoker was just undoubtedly, it's funny for us, but like, you gotta understand what it was like for him. Like, he's literally like, he believes in by the books justice, okay? Which isn't necessarily a bad thing in the One Piece world. Like, pirates like Blackbeard exist. They should be stopped, okay? It's just so funny watching Smoker process that in real time, and he encountered two crooked cops from the opposite sides of the spectrum. There is absolutely no way he would be like, oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, totally, I know. He could only be more confused about what's going on and what everybody is doing. But yeah, that is it for Punk Hazard, guys. I just think that's so funny. Prayers out for Smoker. I really hope he has finally conceptualized everything that happened, both in Alabasta and in Punk Hazard, because having to team up with a crackhead, that would traumatize anybody, okay? Having to team up with a crackhead to save innocent people and having to come to terms with the fact that the crackhead might be actively doing more good in the world than you are, oh, that's just hard for anybody to admit. But yeah, that's it for this time, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being interested, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.